Is Ofcom monitoring our VPNs in the UK? That sounds quite a thing to say, but the answer is actually yes, but not how you might imagine, at least not yet. Anyway, I'm referring to a TechRadar article which was published in November 10th, 2025, a couple of days ago now. Ofcom has confirmed that it's actively monitoring VPN usage across the UK as part of its enforcement of the Online Safety Act. And the details of how they're doing it are quite revealing. So here's the article. This is TechRadar, and you can see there's an exclusive interview where they've actually talked to Ofcom. I'm not sure how they manage that. And Ofcom is monitoring VPNs following the Online Safety Act. So how are they doing it? I'll put a link to that article in the description below. Okay, so why are they watching VPNs? Well, it's all down to our favourite, the UK's Online Safety Act. It's already reshaped how websites and forcing age checks and how it handles harmful content from everything on social media to adult websites. But as millions of users looked for ways around these new restrictions, VPN use skyrocketed. In fact, TechRadar reports that by Ofcom's own estimates, the number of daily VPN users rose to around 1.5 million. 1.5 million, following the introduction of mandatory age checks on adult websites earlier this year. And this, of course, if you've not been aware of this, all adult websites in the UK, you have to verify your age via a third party to access them now. Now, these are obviously only the adult websites who are complying, which is probably a small proportion, but some of the biggest and most legitimate, if you like, have all put adult verification, and you have to upload things like driver's license or passport details or do age biometric verification. Obviously, people are not that keen on uploading or sending all their confidential details to a porn site, so they're looking for ways around, and the VPN bypasses it. So the VPN surge has got Ofcom's attention. So how is Ofcom actually monitoring VPNs? Well, it's actually tracking VPN usage, and they say without actually invading people's privacy. What Ofcom told TechRadar, we use a leading third-party provider, which is widely used in the industry, to gather information on VPN usage. Now, that's the important thing here, VPN usage. The provider combines multiple data sources to train its models and generate usage estimates. They added that the data we access and use in our analysis is fully aggregated at the app level, and no personally identifiable or user level information is ever included. So, in plain English, Ofcom isn't watching you directly, it isn't peeking inside your VPN connection. What they're doing is they're buying access to aggregated data, monitoring things like VPN app download sessions and overall trends. What they're doing is looking at who's using VPNs, not what you're using them for, which is quite creepy anyway, to be honest, but maybe not as bad as actually monitoring what you're actually doing with the VPN. But here's the catch, and I think it's a big catch. They refuse to name the company who are providing all this data, usage data. So, the mystery vendor and lack of transparency, we don't know for sure who the provider is. Ofcom says it's using a leading third-party provider, but the regulator has declined to identify which company it is. There's a few names floating around. One of the worrying ones I found was one called App Annie, which doesn't have a great track record, if you could see from this article, from the US Securities and Exchange Committee. Their founder was charged with securities fraud. I don't know if it is them. I wouldn't be surprised knowing Ofcom, but we've got no evidence that it is, other than rumours. So, no one outside Ofcom knows what data sources are being combined, how accurate the model is, what they're doing, and even if there's a risk of re-identifying users and saying who's using VPNs. The re-identification risk is real. while identifiable information may be excluded from the data that Ofcom analyses, there's nothing that suggests the data is not at risk of re-identification, if you like. And the fact, really, that a regulator is using tools to specifically track the public's use of privacy software doesn't sound right to me. They're using privacy software, and Ofcom is tracking people who want to keep their data private. I mean, that's worrying in itself. So why is Ofcom doing this? What's the goal? Ofcom says the monitoring helps them understand how users might be bypassing the new age verification systems that the Online Safety Act requires for certain types of content. So basically, if you've got a VPN, all these under 18 checks online, you can simply bypass them. If an under 18 uses them, they can watch adult websites without any restrictions or blocks at all. The VPN bypasses them. I don't know why they need to understand. It's quite common knowledge that a VPN bypasses age verification checks. Privacy campaigners argue that monitoring VPN usage at all undermines the whole principle of online privacy and anonymity. I can never say that. The very thing VPNs exist to protect. So TechRadar put in their sub-headline, ignoring VPN risks creating ineffective laws, but tracking them threatens people's privacy. It also raises questions about whether this data aggregation model, remember, nobody's looking inside the VPN, nobody's decrypting your information there, but it is looking in a lot of detail. They probably have lots of data about who's using the VPN and what for and stuff like that. And it could be expanded to other privacy tools in future, like analyzing who's using encrypted messaging, who's using proxy services. Again, a worrying road to fall down. So final thoughts, takeaway, VPNs, they're tools for privacy. Ofcom is not directly breaking into your VPN or decrypting your traffic yet. I use yet advisedly. These tools are important for digital security and privacy. What they're doing is monitoring digital footprints. They're tracking VPN usage via a third party using AI models as well. And it highlights the Online Safety Act's growing creep into digital privacy. With, again, the data vendor, why are they not naming this data vendor? And the other question is, and Ofcom's raised this as well, TechRadar raised this as well, who's watching the watchers? Ofcom are monitoring using the very tools that we use to protect our privacy and anonymity. Who is watching them? Who's ensuring they're transparent and accountable? They're supposed to be a public telecoms provider, regulator, who are supposed to protect the consumer. It sounds like their remit is changing slightly. Okay, so that's all. Thanks. Support the channel if you like this. I'm keep you up to date on this issue and any other sort of tech and privacy related stuff. And if you want to join the conversation, you're more than welcome. Please put a comment below and see what others think. Remember to protect your online privacy. VPNs are a way of ensuring privacy. They can protect your data, even if Ofcom seems to be monitoring those of us who use them all the time, including myself. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.